Hey guys, welcome to this channel, and in this video we are going to talk about Hagia Sophia and evolution. So before we begin, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel and like this video for more videos like this in the future. Hagia Sophia Sancta Sophia or Sancta Sapientia, officially the Great Mosque of Hagia Sophia and formerly the Church of Hagia Sophia, is a late antique place of worship in Istanbul's capital district of Fatih that had served as a Greek Orthodox Christian patriarchal cathedral, briefly a Roman Catholic cathedral, later an Ottoman mosque, a museum, currently a mosque once again. Completed in 537 AD during the reign of the Eastern Roman Emperor Justinian I, it was then the world's largest interior space and the first to employ a fully pendentive dome. It is considered the epitome of Byzantine architecture and said to have changed the history of architecture. It is also an important example of the Islamic practice of converting non-Islamic places of worship into mosques, which had led to the conflicts and religious strife in several parts of the world. The first church of the site was known as Magna Ecclesia or Great Church, because of its larger dimensions in comparison to the contemporary churches in the city. Inaugurated on 15 February 360 AD during the reign of Constantius II by the Eudoxius of Antioch, it was built next to the area where the imperial palace was being first developed. The nearly Hagia Irene or Holy Peace Church was completed earlier and served as a cathedral until the Great Church was completed. Both churches acted together as the principal churches of the Byzantine Empire. Writing in 440 AD, Socrates of Constantinople claimed that the church was built by Constantius II, who was working it on 346 AD, a tradition which is not older than the 7th or 8th century. Reports that the edifice was Constantine the Great. Jonerus reconciles the two opinions, writing that Constantius has repaired the edifice consecrated by Eusebius of Nicomedia after it had collapsed. Since Eusebius was bishop of Constantinople from 339 to 341 AD and Constantine died in 337 AD, it seems possible that the first church was erected by Constantius. The edifice was built by traditional colonnaded basilica with galleries and a wooden roof and preceded by an atrium. It was claimed to be one of the world's most outstanding monuments at the time. The Patriarch of Constantinople, John Chrysostom, came into the conflict with the Empress Hagia Eudoxia, wife of the Emperor Arcadius, and was sent into exile on 20th June 404 AD. During the subsequent riots, the first church was largely burned down. Nothing remains on the first church today. A second church on the site was ordered by Rhodesius II, who inaugurated it in 10th October 415 AD. The Notilia Urbis Constantinopolitana describes the Hagia Sophia as the Magna Ecclesia or Great Church, while the former cathedral Hagia Irene was named as Ecclesia Antiqua. That means Old Church. The basilica with a wooden roof was built by the architect Rufinus. A fire started during the tumult of the Nika revolt and burned the second Hagia Sophia to the ground on 13-14 January 532 AD. Several marble blocks from the Rhodesian church survive to the present. Among them are reliefs depicting 12 lambs representing the 12 apostles. Originally part of a monumental front entrance, they now reside in an excavation pit adjacent to the present building's entrance after they were discovered in 1935 beneath the western courtyard by the German archaeologist Alphonse Maria Schneider. Further digging was abandoned for fear of impinging on the integrity of the Justinian building. On 23 February 532 AD, only a few weeks after the destruction of the second basilica, Emperor Justinian I decided to build a third and entirely different basilica, larger and more majestically than its predecessors. Justinian chose geometer and engineer Isidore of Miletus and mathematician Anthemius of Tralles as architects. Anthemius, however, died within the first year of the endeavor. The construction is described in the Byzantine historian Procopius. On buildings, columns and other marbles were brought down from all over the empire throughout the Mediterranean. The idea of these columns being spoils from cities such as Rome and Ephesus is a later invention, even though they were made specifically for Hagia Sophia. The columns saw variations in size. More than 10,000 people were employed. The new church was contemporaneously recognized as a major work of architecture. The Justinian and Patriarch Manus inaugurated the new basilica on 27 December 537 AD, 5 years and 10 months after construction started, with much pomp. The mosaics inside the church were only completed in the reign of the Emperor Justinian II. Hagia Sophia was the seat of the Patriarchate of Constantinople and a principal setting for Byzantine imperial ceremonies such as coronations. Like other churches throughout the Christendom, the basilica offered sanctuary from persecution to outlaws. Earthquakes in August 553 AD and on 14 December 557 AD caused cracks in the main dome and eastern half dome. The main dome collapsed completely during a subsequent earthquake on 7 May 558 AD, destroying the Amban altar and the ciborium. The collapse was due mainly to the unfeasibly high-bearing load and to the enormous shear load of the dome, which was too flat. This caused the deformation of the piers which sustained the dome. The emperor ordered an immediate restoration. He entrusted it to Isidorius the Younger, the nephew of the Isidore of Miletus, who used lighter materials and elevated the dome by 10 feet. Giving the building its current interior height of 55.6 meters. Isidorus changed the dome type, erecting a ribbed dome with pendentives, whose diameter lay between 32.7 to 33.5 meters. Under Justinian's orders, 8 Corinthian columns were disassembled from the Baalbek, Lebanon, and shipped to Constantinople around 560 AD. These reconstructions, giving the church its present 6th century form, was completed in 562 AD. The Byzantine poet Paul the Silent-Literary composed a long epic poem known as Ekphrasis for the rededication of the basilica, presided over by Patriarch Eutychius on 23 December 562 AD. Constantinople fell to the attacking Ottoman forces on 29 May 1453. In accordance with the traditional customs at the time, Sultan Mehmed II allows his troops and his entourage 3 full days of unbridled pillage and looting in the city shortly after it was captured. Once the 3 days passed, he would then claim the remaining contents for himself. Hagia Sophia was not exempted from the pillage and looting and specifically became its focal point as the invaders believed it to the contain of the greatest treasures and valuables of the city. Shortly after Constantinople's defense collapsed and the Ottoman troops entered the city victoriously, the pillagers and looters made their way to the Hagia Sophia and battered down its door before storming in. All throughout the period of the siege of Constantinople, the trapped worshippers of the city participated in the divine liturgy and prayer of the hours of the Hagia Sophia, and the church formed a safe haven and a refuge for many of those who were unable to contribute to the city's defense. When Sultan Mehmed II and his accompanying entourage entered the church, he insisted that it should be converted into a mosque at once. One of the ulema present then climbed up the church pulpit and recited out the Shahada, thus marking the beginning of the gradual conversion of the church into a mosque. In 1717, under Sultan Mehmed III, the crumbling plaster and the interior was renovated, contributing indirectly to the preservation of many mosaics, which otherwise would have been destroyed by mosque workers. It was usual for them to sell mosaic stones believed to be the talismans to the visitors. Sultan Mehmed I orders the restoration of the building in 1739 and added a madrasa and subsequently an emirate and a library, and in 1740 a sadirvan, thus transforming it into a social complex. At the same time, a new Sultan's Lodge and a new mihrab was built inside. Restoration of Hagia Sophia was ordered by Sultan Abdul Masih and completed by 800 workers between 1847 and 1849. The mosaics in the upper gallery was exposed and cleaned, although many were recovered for protection against further damage. The old chandeliers was replaced by new pendant ones. New gigantic circular frame discs or medallions were hung on columns. These were inscribed with the name of Allah. Outside the main building, the minarets were repaired and altered so that they were equal in height. When the restoration was finished, the mosque was reopened with a ceremonial pomp on 13 July 1849. In 1935, the first Turkish president and founder of the Republic of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, transformed the building into a museum. The World Monuments Fund placed Hagia Sophia on 1996 World Monument Watch and again in 1998. The WWF secured a series of grants from 1997 to 2002 for the restoration of the dome. The first stage of work involved the structural stabilization and repair of the cracked roof, which was undertaken with the participation of the Turkish Ministry of Culture. The second phase, the preservation of the dome's interior, afforded the opportunity to employ and train young Turkish conservators in the care of mosaics. By 2006, the WMA project was complete, though many other areas of Hagia Sophia continue to require significant stability improvement, restoration and conservation. Hagia Sophia is currently the second most visited museum in Turkey, attracting almost 3.3 million visitors annually as in 2014. Although most of the complex as a place of worship, mosque or church was strictly prohibited. In 2006, the Turkish government allowed the allocation of a small room in the museum complex to be used as a prayer room for Christian and Muslim museum staff. And since 2013, from the minarets of the museum, the muezzin sings the call of the prayer twice per day in the afternoon. In 2007, Greek-American politician Chris Spiro launched an international organization's Free Hagia Sophia Council, championing the cause of restoring the building to its original function as a Christian church. Since the early 2010, several campaigns and government high officials, notably Turkish Deputy Prime Minister in November 2013, have been demanding the Hagia Sophia be converted into a mosque again. In 2015, in retaliation for the acknowledgement by the Pope Francis of the Armenian genocide, the Mufti of Ankara, Mufil Hijli, stated that he believes the conversion of Hagia Sophia into a mosque will be accelerated. On 1st July 2016, Muslim prayers were held again in Hagia Sophia for the first time in 85 years. On November, the Turkish non-governmental organizations, the Association for the Protection of Historic Monuments and the Environment, filed a lawsuit for converting the museum into a mosque. The court decided it should stay as a monument museum. On 13 May 2017, a large group of people organized by Anatolia Youth Association gathered in front of the Hagia Sophia and prayed the morning prayer with a call for the reconversion of the museum into a mosque. On 21st June 2017, Presidency of Religious Affairs organized a special program which included the recitation of the Quran. Since 2018, Turkish President Erdogan has spoken of reverting the status of the Hagia Sophia back to a mosque, a move seen by the very popularly accepted by the religious populace whom Erdogan is attempting to persuade. On 31st March 2018, Erdogan recited the first verse of the Quran in the Hagia Sophia, dedicating the prayer to the souls of all who left us with the work of inheritance, especially the Istanbul's conqueror, strengthening the political movement to make the Hagia Sophia a mosque once again, which would reverse Atatürk's measures of turning to Hagia Sophia into a secular museum. In March 2019, Erdogan said that he will change the status of Hagia Sophia from a museum to a mosque, adding that it had been a very big mistake to turn it into a museum. As a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this change would require approval from UNESCO's World Heritage Committee. In 2020, Turkish government is set to celebrate the 567th anniversary of the call of the Constantinople with an Islamic prayer in Hagia Sophia. Al-Fatiha will be recited and prayers will be done at Hagia Sophia as part of the Conquest Festival. Turkish President Erdogan said during a televised broadcast in May during the anniversary events, passages from the Quran was read and in the Hagia Sophia. Greece condemned this action while Turkey in response accused Greece of making futile and ineffective statements. In June, the head of the Turkish Directorate of Religious Affairs said that we would be very happy to open Hagia Sophia for worship, and if this happens, we will provide our religious services as we do in all our mosques. On 10 July 2020, the decision of the Council of Ministers to transform the Hagia Sophia into a museum was cancelled by the Council of State. And despite secular and global criticism, Erdogan signed a decree annulling the Hagia Sophia's museum status, reverting it to a mosque. The call to prayer was broadcast from the minaret shortly after the announcement of the change and rebroadcast by major Turkish news networks. The Hagia Sophia's museum's social media channels were taken down the same day, with Erdogan announcing at a press conference that prayers themselves would be held there from 24 July 2020. A presidential spokesperson said it would become a working mosque open to anyone, similar to the Parisian churches Sacré Coeur and Notre Dame. The spokesperson also said the change did not affect the status of Hagia Sophia as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the Christian icons within it would continue to be protected. Greece denounced the conversion and considered it a breach of UNESCO World Heritage titling. The World Council of Churches, which represents most of the globe's Christian churches, condemned the decision to convert the building into a mosque, saying that it will inevitably create uncertainty, suspicions, and mistrust. The World Council of Churches demanded that Erdogan reverse the decision. Pope Francis said that I think of Sancta Sophia and I am very pained. Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew I of Constantinople warned that converting Hagia Sophia into a mosque would fracture East and West. And Russian Orthodox Christian leader Patriarch Kirill of Moscow decried the conversion of the building into a mosque as a threat to the whole of the Christian civilization. Greece and Cyprus threatened Turkey with sanctions. The Prime Minister of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, which is recognized only by Turkey, welcomed the decision. Morgan Ortagus, the spokesperson for the United States Department of State, noted that we are disappointed by the decision by the government of Turkey to change the status of the Hagia Sophia. The European Union foreign ministers condemned the Turkish decision to convert such an emblematic monument as the Hagia Sophia. On 10 July 2020, the Turkish State Council passed a decision that decrees Istanbul's 15th century-old Hagia Sophia to be used only as a mosque and not for any other purpose. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, so make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this in the future. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.